You don't have to be a millennial to be socially savvy. We believe anyone can join Generation Social Media, and your journey starts now. This is the Generation Social Media Podcast by Chatterkick.
Hi, this is Chris Severn. I am a customer success specialist with Chatterkick, and today I'm joined by Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly Ernst, and I am an ad strategist at Chatterkick.
And today our question is, what is UGC? What does that mean? Do I need it? How do I get it?
Yes, you need it.
Yeah.
That I think is our position on UGC today.
Yeah, I think so. So, all right, we're done.
No.
Just kidding. So,
No, we're not.
First of all, what is UGC? Let's break it out. User-generated content. User-generated content. So it's anything that's posted not by yourself, the company, but by people who are using your services or interacting with you online. So that's photos, videos. It includes like reviews and testimonials or things that people post about you in text form as well. But it's that sort of word of mouth on social media and that authentication from your audience about who you are as a company and how they interact with you. Nice. I think that sums it up pretty good. But so that's what it is, but why is that important? Like, why would that be maybe better than just me making my own social media posts?
Because it, compared to a brand posting about how great they are, having users post about how great you are or showcasing how great you are, gives an extra level of authenticity. It's sort of that, especially in the Midwest, like we like to not brag about ourselves. It's so much easier if you let somebody else brag about you for you. So sharing that content doesn't feel like you're promoting your business as much as you're just sharing an experience that someone else had and you're letting them promote your business for you. So it's a really great way to show people a really authentic view of what other people think about you and get that validation from your users and your customers and anybody you interact with.
Yeah. I think we get that question from different clients, but we've also not necessarily forced it on people. We've had clients that have just
a lot of
already
people don't know.
Well,
yeah.
I'm thinking of a certain client in particular. They launched a product. They already had really a great brand, just didn't really have an online presence. But once they started, on Facebook, there was just all that content. Pretty much all their content is generated from the users and like how they use it. And we just had a product launch. They said basically this was the best product launch they've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, do you want to talk more about that? Like, how did that UGC play into that? Do you think that was the only way to go, or what? Just how did that amplify that message?
Yeah. So that particular client, I think, was in a really niche kind of position, and it was it's a content bucket sort of that they hadn't thought about before. So the client was really new to playing in the social landscape in terms of marketing. So when we talked to them, it was a lot of, they were opening their ears to what people were saying online, which is important to do as a business, but it's also important to think about how you can use what people are saying and not just taking that feedback for yourself as a company, but then putting it back out onto a digital landscape. So when we started helping them listen to what people were saying online, we had all of these great cases of UGC where people who were using their products were talking about how much they loved their products and how well their products worked. And so it was fun to be able to sort of open their eyes to that possibility, because they're not the only client. There's a few different clients we talked to that they just it hasn't occurred to them yet that is a source of content that they can use. They don't have to pay for a photo shoot. They don't have to pay for a video shoot. They don't have to try and, fish for compliments. It's already existing and they can just draw from that pool. So it worked really well, and it helped kind of show that it was a real authentic company, which was so important, especially because since that client in particular was new to the social landscape, the conversation was already happening without them being there, but we were trying to help build up their profiles at the same time and just really make sure that they felt like they had been on social for a while.
Yeah.
And that was a really great way to help build that quickly, to show in the past years, even though they maybe didn't have a social presence, other people had been talking about them in the social space.
Right. Well, and they sort of solicited all these pictures even before having the social presence. Like they have, send in your picture of you and your award, and we'll give you, I think it was like a jacket or something. And so they already had sort of this like bank of images.
Right. Yeah. They knew that they wanted to
stand in. But
yeah. They knew that it was important to collect content, but they were doing it in an analog fashion where people would mail things in, and that process is so much more efficient and so much easier to do in a digital space. It's so much easier to send a photo over email, or Facebook Messenger even is a great place to collect UGC from people when you ask for it. So it's been really fun to work with them and just digitize some of those processes and kind of gently lead the client and say, like, look, isn't this nice? Isn't this easy?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that then. Like, how would you go about, like, what's already there? And I'm thinking like testimonials or reviews, on Facebook or Google. Like, those are, if you have them already, they're just sitting there. Yeah. But going about gathering those or using those all the way to like maybe setting up a plan or a funnel in place to like have this on a regular basis. So like those reviews, would you need to ask permission to use those, or how would you use those in content?
I think a good rule of thumb, that is a interesting part of UGC, is that because it was created by someone else, you don't own it. And there is not a lot of clear guidelines as to what you can and can't use, and from a legal perspective. And a good rule of thumb is, when you can, try and ask permission. Because even if you can use something legally, you don't want to upset someone who has been bragging about you on social media by using something that they created without their permission, because somebody who's already shown that they're going to be really vocal online about your company. Right. And right now they are somebody who's, praising you.
Keep them on the good side. Yeah.
Right. You don't want them to turn on you and upset them. And it's actually really interesting. So TikTok got in trouble for this. The platform has been running ads on Snapchat and on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms to try and get people to use TikTok more. And they are using videos from the platform, which makes sense.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
And they didn't tell the users that they were going to be featured in their ads. And there's a really clear part of the user agreement on TikTok that says, well, the users still own the copyright. They are the creators. They own the copyright. By using the TikTok platform, you give TikTok basically a free pass. There's a bunch of legal jargon, but basically TikTok can use whatever you want. And it was an interesting reminder that, like, you're always renting space on social media platforms. But now there's TikTok users who are upset with the platform itself.
The free platform.
Right. And there's however many, thousands, millions of videos on TikTok. It would not have been difficult to just pick, however many you wanted to use, ask for permission.
Send a message.
And if they said no, there's alternatives.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many options.
If half of them say no, you still have hundreds and thousands of other options. Yeah.
And for other brands that maybe don't have millions of options available to them, if you get somebody who says no, I mean, just from a moral perspective, I think it's best to respect that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so my general rule of thumb is always, if there is a way for you to contact someone and ask them if you can use what they've created, it's better to do it. If you can do that privately, I prefer to do it privately versus in a public comment, just in case somebody's since had a bad experience.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it from your business brand page, that's okay. If you can reach out to them through a personal account and you're comfortable with that, and with them knowing that you're associated with the business, then that's okay too. Just say, hey, my name is Molly. I work at ChatterKick, and ChatterKick loves this post that you put out, and we'd really like to share it from our page. Is that okay? And most of the time people are thrilled to be involved, and it's a really great way to reward your loyal customers or clients or people that you work with.
Well, there's probably like kind of an art to that ask too, not just, hey, can we use your post for our marketing materials so that we can make a bunch of money? It's probably like, hey, your message would be great to showcase to maybe potential customers that you're having such a great experience. Would you want to share that? I think that's probably like a softer way of going about it.
Yeah, I mean, just flattery gets you everywhere. So something about like, I really love the way you captured the vibe, or
pump them up a little bit.
Yeah, give them. So tell them why you want to use their content too. And then another thing that I know we do at ChatterKick is, if we can, tag the user then when we share their content to give them another pat on the back and show other users, like, if we're going to use your content, we're going to tell people it came from you, and you're going to get like a fun feature.
Well, it's such a great way to boost like engagement too. Like if I see that this brand shared my post and I'm tagged, maybe I'll comment on it like, hey, thanks, but then, or I'll share it to my page. It opens it up to so many more people seeing that, and then other people jumping on like, hey, great job, Chris, or whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. And what's great is if you start making that a regular part of the content that you're publishing, you will find that other users who are also using your products or are using your services are far more likely to send you their stuff without you having to ask anymore.
Right.
There's a couple of clients that we have that happen with at Chatterkick, and it's really fun they've been doing it for so long that there's a reliable amount of content we know we can collect
just keep getting
over time. And we just know it's going to roll in because it's a part of the culture of that Facebook account now, or that social profile. They just expect that people, and then it's not even people sending you things. You're going to get tagged in other user posts, and it snowballs really, really nicely.
Right. So that can be part of that strategy. Like you said, it kind of just is part of their plan. Sort of either you can back off of what you're doing. Maybe I don't have to create less in the business, or I can still be creating the same amount, and now that just amplifies it.
I mean, it snowballs really well, but there's also that it can be a little difficult to get used to it and get into a habit and get started doing it. So I think that if you want to implement it, it's a strategy you can implement really quickly, which is great. The first step is just to kind of open up your ears and eyes and start listening. Find out from location tags, like pick a local, if you're locally bound, like start looking at local posts, figure out which hashtags people would use to tag content that was with you. Look at your reviews on Google and Facebook. Look at visitor posts is a great place where content comes in. And if you have stuff, so get it together, polish it up, make it look nice, ask for permission, schedule it out to run, and you've now added UGC to your content mix. So that's a really fast way to get that process started. But then if you maybe don't find everything, if you're new to some platforms, or maybe your audience isn't ready and waiting for you on social, because that can happen.
Right. Starting from scratch.
It's not hard to get started. You can literally put out just a text post. Depending on how engaged your following is on social media, you can just start by asking for it. Just say, hey, send us a selfie of you with our product, or show us how you use X. It really depends on like what you're trying to showcase, but it's so easy. You literally just have to ask for it.
Right.
If you've got a good following that engages with you regularly on social, you're likely to get things. If you're struggling to kind of get that started, you can move more towards a rewards base. You can, the difficulty with starting it with rewards back to users is that sometimes that becomes a set expectation moving forward, and it's not exactly what you want. So you have to be a little bit careful there, but just really making sure that you're watching key hashtags that are related to you and your business. You're watching when somebody tags you in things. That's the best way to find UGC. And once you start asking for it on your profile, it's really fun the first time you ask for things, and then to just watch the comments fill up with photos. Yeah. And we're like, okay, we're good for the next 6 months.
Sure.
We're good.
How long, say that doesn't come in, say you ask, it doesn't really come in, but you're talking about, looking for other posts or looking for hashtags, like, is that 10 minutes a day? Is that an hour a day? Is that maybe one day of the week? Like, just practically, and it doesn't have to be an exact number, but what would you say, how much time should I devote to that effort of trying to collect that UGC?
Well, what we do and what I consider best practice is you should be checking those kind of avenues where people are trying to interact with you actively, any incoming messages or interactions. You should be checking that daily, and that's what we do. We check it multiple times every day. Right. So if you're already doing that, you're likely to see the UGC as it comes in. If you are doing maybe more of an outreach, or where you're trying to start interactions with people, or if you are looking just for UGC, I think that if you know where you want to look already, that can take 10 minutes. I mean, 10 minutes a day would be plenty. Yeah. I mean, you could probably do 5 minutes a day, honestly, if you already know where you want to look. Right. The better your UGC content program is going, the longer it's going to take you, because the more you should have. Right. Which would be great. To kind of
filter through it, yeah.
But yeah, it's not something that should add a ton to your normal routine of just checking the page itself.
Yeah. So UGC is good.
It is good.
It makes your process a little bit smoother, hopefully a little bit easier once you're kind of established there. It also makes the message better because of that social proof coming from other people, not just you saying, I'm awesome. What about, are there any taboos? And I guess the only thing I'm thinking of is, can you say, like, give rewards for reviews, or like, is there things that you can't do in terms of a sort of a compensation kind of thing?
That's true. Facebook will, if you are looking to get more reviews on your page and you offer any kind of incentive for a review, Facebook has some really strict guidelines on that. And I'm pretty sure you have to make sure that it's for any review. You can't say, like, if you give me a 5-star review, I'm going to give you this reward. And even incentivizing reviews at all is a little, it's iffy, and I would be nervous to do it and without, like, proofreading Facebook's guidelines 3 times just in case.
Yep.
But you can, we talked to that client we were talking about earlier who had just gotten started with that, and we had good UGC that existed on the platform already, but we didn't have a bottomless pit of it.
Yep.
So we talked to them about going off of the digital profiles to find UGC and to encourage your existing customers, your existing audience, to create it for you without offering a reward. And that can be as easy as go to your customer list, find your top five, find people who you know as customers are great, you know that they love you, you know that they've been back a few times, and just send them an email, a really personal, or if you know them really well personally, give them a call. Just say, hey, we're putting some effort into our Facebook. We really want to connect with people and show them why we're great. You know why we're great because you've been buying from us for this long.
Right.
And we were hoping that you would help us tell that story. So if you have any photos or videos, or if you'd like to send us some words about why you love our stuff, we would be really happy to use that. And then we could tag you and showcase you on our page. Still that flattery, that, like, we're going to make you a star, like, kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
But you can do that off of social platforms as well. If you know there's some people who would be really great to feature on your page, go ahead and reach out just to get you started. And hopefully they not only do it once, but they continue to send you things. And you've started your own influencer program, just like that.
Yeah, that's sort of that next level, right? Maybe another episode.
Yeah. UGC is like baby influencers. Is really what it is, because everybody kind of wants to be an influencer. They want to be featured and be like, yeah, I'm super cool. This brand posted me on their page, so I'm basically
on a regular
famous.
basis. They keep posting me. Gosh, they won't stop posting my stuff.
They're blowing up my tags. I'm just so fancy. Yeah, that's what everybody wants. We've talked about how users generate content, but I also wanted to touch on how users are consuming content, sort of looking at some stereotypes and the reality of different types of users and how they use social. So we do have the social media usage information for one particular type of user. This is for an early 30s male who is in marketing. So I'll share this with you too. Do you want to just talk about?
Yeah, kind of highlight it.
Yeah.
Well, this is just all apps. So I guess spending time on his phone 5 hours a day, and of that, that's of the week. So this is showing his app usage for the week. He's got 36 hours of time on his phone. Of that, 11 hours spent on Facebook, and that is by and far the highest. I think the next down, there's messages, there's phone, there's the web browser, but YouTube for an hour. So 12 hours on social media, most of that coming from Facebook. So let's see, early 30s, Facebook. That doesn't really blow me away. I think I might expect to see maybe some more Instagram or maybe even Twitter. I guess it depends on what he's looking at. So if he's in marketing already, I wonder if he's doing research. I feel like that's probably my Facebook usage for the most part is just, because of work and, the pages that we manage, that sort of thing. So I'm curious as maybe what he's looking at, but that's an opportunity while he's on Facebook during the day to either have your content in front of him or maybe be showing ads to that demographic if you're trying to reach him. I guess, does anything jump out there?
Yeah, I just really enjoy seeing the breakdown of categories. So the weekly total, like you said, is 36 hours. And then there's 3 categories that's broken into is social networking, productivity, and entertainment. Entertainment is at 2 hours. Productivity is about 4 hours. and social networking is 17 and a half hours, which I think is really funny, just because of the stereotype that like these kids these days are always on their phones, on the social media, and this person's in their 30s. Thanks. I thought that was a really good impression too.
Yeah, you nailed it.
But yeah, so I would definitely say this person is probably not just on Facebook for like their own entertainment. I would say it's probably a lot of seeing what else is going on the app and staying connected. I would be willing to bet, since they're in marketing. I know a lot of us at Chatterkick are on, we're in multiple groups that are marketing and advertising focused. And I think that Facebook's shift towards trying to promote groups and group content more, I would be willing to bet that a lot of that time is spent in groups, maybe having more industry-based discussions or just something.
Asking questions,
just with that
answering
amount
questions.
of time, that overwhelming 11 hours is a lot. I agree. I think it's interesting that there's far less Instagram, and I wonder if that's male versus female likelihood. And then just from the difference in terms of time on their phone, only like 2 hours, 40 minutes on their phone tells me that this person, they might be in marketing, but they don't do what you do. They're probably not communicating with clients nearly as much, with how much, because the email app doesn't even rank very high on their list. So yeah, I think if we were trying to reach this person, there's a lot of different ways to reach people in different industries. If you're trying to reach somebody in marketing, there's some really cool ways, especially if they are a digital marketer and they maybe are connected to different Facebook pages. There's some cool ways you can reach people that do marketing on Facebook. And I think finding this person on Facebook would be great, but I also think it'd be fun to, if you're trying to get at somebody in marketing, just making sure you're really involved in groups in that industry to try and start a conversation and get to know someone better. And then depending on what you're trying to talk to them about, lead in that way.
Yeah. Well, and with that, be authentic. I mean, don't go into those groups and say, hey, look at me, what's up, I'm here. But like, again, answering questions, asking questions, engaging with other people's questions or content. So yeah.
And it feels really daunting. I've done that personally. It feels very daunting, and there's a little bit of that like imposter syndrome sometimes where you're like, what do I know? How could I share anything for this person? But it's really kind of validating, and it's like a nice pat on the back when you're able to answer someone's question and then they comment back like, thanks, like that really helped. And like, it did. Oh, I'm so happy. That feels
Screenshot
really
it,
nice.
save it for later.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of that. Just anytime I'm feeling low, I flip open my screenshots to the times I've helped people. It's nice. But yeah, so I think that person's probably in groups a lot.